If you are a busy woman looking for more lightness, fun, play, and joy in your life, this next episode is for you. This is one of my absolute favorite topics, one of the most powerful things that I have done for myself in the last few years. And in this episode, I'm gonna cover exactly how to implement this strategy. This episode is all about connecting with your inner child. This can be one of the most fun things that you will ever do if you have not yet done so. And it can also be one of the most powerful strategies that you implement as a woman. This is gonna allow you to show up more light, playful, with childlike energy as you're navigating all the bazillion things that you get done in a day. People around you are gonna notice a major shift in how you show up based on doing this work. I'm so excited to take things a step deeper with you on this next episode. We have done so much in starting to get you reconnected with your inner voice, reconnected with yourself. Again, these are the tools that are gonna help you show up with more calm, more balance, less frustration, feeling like somehow you're getting it all done and still having stuff somehow left over at the end of the day. So we've gone through a few tasks so far. We've gone through observing and identifying your inner voice, yourself, whatever you want to call it. We've gone through and listed how this voice shows up. How would we describe this inner person? Is she angry? Is she frustrated? Is she calm? Is she nice? All the things. We've identified when our masculine side of our voice is tuning in versus our feminine side of our voice. If you're just starting with this episode, I highly recommend you going back and listening to the 2 previous episodes. These tasks are going to work so much better if you do them in order. So I want to know how things went for you. How was identifying the masculine versus the feminine? Did you have a lot of the shoulds pop up? Did you have a lot of the senses of obligation pop up? Did you have your feminine side key in and let you know when you needed to move a little bit more slowly, when you needed to add a little more nurture in your life? Did you tend to notice that your masculine voice tends to be louder and easier to hear? If you're anything like me, I had been listening to my masculine voice for far too long. And what's going to happen if you stick with me through the next few episodes is that this inner voice, this inner self is going to become like your best friend, your best ally, and you're going to start working like a team again. We were born with this inner voice. We have just stopped listening to it. And when we can, that is going to be the key in shifting how we show up throughout our day. Again, this can be so simple because we have access to this at all times. Whether you're in the car, driving to work, home from work, running carpool if you have kids, doing dishes, cooking food, doing your emails, anything you're doing, you have access to this inner voice and self. It's free, it's always with you, so these are things you can implement at any time. So the next step, we're going to continue to observe and label our voice as masculine or feminine. I want you to keep walking through that this week during this next task. If you start to notice that the voice has kind of like a mean, aggressive, critical, judgmental tone, don't worry, that's so common. Basically, what has happened is because there's this inner voice inside of us, this self, think of it again as a person who has been sending us messages, been trying to tell us things, and we haven't listened. They're angry. They are frustrated. Think of someone having a voice that hasn't been heard in a long time. Think of it almost like a kid who's throwing a tantrum, right? This inner voice has been trying to tell us things for years. We don't listen. And so it's acting out. And that's in many cases why your voice shows up the way for you that it does, why your inner voice shows up critical, angry, judgmental, frustrated. It's pissed off. So again, think of it as a little kid throwing a tantrum. And speaking of, this is what we're going to do this week. We are going to tune back into your little kid, your inner child. This is one of my favorite things to do. It's so light and fun, and it's so effective. Our inner child connection is the gateway to making our feminine voice louder and more powerful. So spend some time on this. I highly recommend you carve out some quiet time for yourself, even if it's just a few minutes in the morning, if it's at night, if you have to park your car when you get home and hide in the car for a few minutes before you go into your family, wherever it is, whatever it is, if it's in the weekend, carve out some time to really sit with yourself, and think of yourself as a child. If you have pictures of yourself, this is going to make this step so much easier. I highly recommend you getting a few pictures, either a variety of pictures of yourself at different ages and stages. If there's a certain age of you as a child that really resonates with you, that you really want to go back and connect to, grab from that age. Maybe it's when something happened in your life, maybe a big challenging time. For a lot of people, what's going to be best is to start with a time before that happened. So for instance, if something tragic happened when you were in your teens, maybe go back and connect with a younger version of yourself. Grab pictures from, ages like 5 to 10, I think is a really, really beautiful age to do during this exercise. Grab anywhere from 1 to 3 pictures and put them throughout your house in places where you're going to see often. Bathroom mirror is a great one. Dresser is a great one. Dashboard of your car is a really important one. In addition to your homework of journaling in the morning and at night, just continuing to touch on the concepts we've already talked about. So perhaps identifying the masculine voice and the feminine voice. What I really want you to do now is use that time and space to connect with yourself as an inner child. This may bring up some emotions, some tears, some things that you need to work through and walk through. And journaling can be a really effective tool. Think about, I could even get teary just talking about this. Think about who you were as a child, what you loved about her. She was probably very innocent and whimsical. What did she dream of? Oh, God. What did she love to do in her spare time? What were her favorite activities? If she had half an hour to play, what did she do? Did she go outside? Was she on the swings? Did she like to build? Did she like to ride her bike? Did she like to dance? Those are all things I want you to start to ask yourself and journal about this week. It will probably be really helpful to have the picture of yourself in front of you as you're walking through. Gosh, this gets me emotional. This is such a powerful exercise. You can see I'm like getting emotional just talking about it. This is so incredibly powerful. If you've never done this, this can be one of the best things you've ever done for yourself in your life. So you're going to put these pictures out. You're going to connect with your inner child. You're going to start to ask and remember, what was it that she liked to do? What did she dream of? How did she spend her time? Again, what this is going to ultimately do is make our feminine voice louder and more clear. I want you to also think about some of the things that she liked to do in her spare time. And extra bonus, if you can start to incorporate that into your life again. And you can make this really simple, really easy. It doesn't have to take a lot of time and it can be free. So for instance, when I was little, I loved to ride my bike. And so what I've started doing now is between emails, I will literally take like a 5-minute loop on my bike. So if you're someone who, when you were little, perhaps loved to dance and you have a really busy schedule, what about just like throwing on some music in your home as you're getting ready for the day and dancing, moving your hips? What about putting on fun music in the car during your commute, or if you have children on the way to their school? If there was a sport that you were really involved in as a child, and I know we all do this, you constantly dream of that sport and the days back when you were like fit and in shape and felt so powerful, and that sport is what did it for you. Start to think about how you can make your way back to that sport. And it may not sound attainable yet, but within a matter of few weeks, you might just be able to start to find time, and resources to be able to carve out getting yourself back into that sport. For now, though, if it were something like volleyball, say, could you go out in the front yard and like play volleyball with your kids, or just go to Dick's and buy a volleyball? Like just anything little to start to reconnect with that time, that passion from when you were growing up is going to be so huge. So this week, your homework, go print some pictures, get the CVS app on your phone, send them to CVS, Walgreens, whatever. Literally all you'll have to do, as long as things run smoothly, I swear to God, there's the photo machines at those places are always broken. You'll go scoop up those pictures, put one on your mirror, put one on your dresser, put one on the dashboard of your car. Spend time in the morning and or night journaling and connecting with yourself as an inner child. Ask prompts like, what did I love to do? What made me happy? If you had a dramatic emotional change, some sort of trauma or trigger in your life, I recommend going back to the time before that happened and asking these questions. who was she before blank? You can even ask that, who was she before blank happened in my life? Obviously, if this brings up anything, major mental health related, I highly recommend reaching out to professionals. It's not what I'm here for, but you can find resources to help walk you through. I recommend journaling about anything that comes up, allowing yourself space to cry, to laugh, to giggle. If you want to put on music, I always think music is so good at bringing up emotions and connections. One of my favorite songs for this work is by Leanne Rimes. It's called Innocent. Grab the tissues, it'll make you cry. So you're journaling, you're printing your picture, and then bonus points if you can start to at least think of reincorporating one of your inner child's favorite activities that they did when they were young. I'm so excited to hear how this week goes for you. Next week, I've got some great things in store for you, so make sure you tune in. And as always, let me know your feedback. Send me messages, email me, comment, all the things. I would love to hear how this is going for you. I'm so proud of you for taking this time for yourself. Self-care is not selfish. It's literally the best thing you can do for everyone around you. And now are you starting to realize the play on words? As we connect to our inner voice, as we connect to our inner self, every time I talk about self-love, self-care, I'm connecting with myself. That's what we're doing here. You guys are so powerful. I'm so excited to see you getting back to you and how this is gonna shape up and change your future. See you soon.